Welcome to the Museum of Aquarium and Pet History. And again, another 5-minute video, which I know you guys love. And this is a good one today because we're going to talk about dismal failures, catastrophic failures in aquarium products. We're going to do 3 of them. And I just want to say up front that this has nothing to do with those companies. Every company, including the company that I worked for many years, has had obviously 1 or 2 products that have not done well, that have been like failures. So this has nothing to do with the company. We all have them, but I do want to show you a couple that are actually quite amusing. All right, so the first one, and this only came to my attention from my good buddy Phil Cooper, and it is a UniQuarium. I never even knew this existed, and this was made by Metaframe, but it was actually made by Metaframe when it was owned by Matel. So that's because it's got the living world, which was their tagline. And the UniQuarium was one where it was works in a drawer. Everything was in the bottom. They have the pump, the filter, the lighting, everything in the bottom of the tank. And I'm wondering, well, okay, you got gravel in the tank. How does the light go through the gravel? Well, apparently in the under gravel filter, they have a space. They had a space back here where the light actually came up. Problem with that is, if you know something about any animal, you've got the thing called circadian rhythm, and that is the day and nighttime. Also where the light comes from above. Light doesn't come naturally from below. So when you have light that comes from below, you actually mess with the fish. And as soon as this came out on the market, all the hobbyists that own fish stores jumped on it and said, what a terrible idea. So it didn't sell. And this one is actually brand new. It's got some silverfish insect damage on it. Other than that, it's got the new staples. It's never been opened. And it was in a warehouse, a pet warehouse. It just closed, and it was there for over 45 years. So since the late 70s, I believe. UniQuarium, I never even knew. If it wasn't for Phil Cooper talking about this in this video, I wouldn't know this existed. And then we actually got a chance to buy some of the things from that warehouse, and this was the only one that was in there. So that's a UniQuarium, big failure on their part. This is when Mattel owned it, and that's all she wrote. Okay, number 2 is, and again, this came from Phil Cooper. There was a heater that was made by Odell, and it was, unfortunately, I thought I had one, and I looked, I couldn't find one, but they used a silicone oil in the heater, and it was plastic, and the silicone oil somehow either got on the outside of the heater or it leaked from the inside, and they spent a lot of money on this heater, and it just was a disaster. Once they came out with it, and once it actually had the failure with this oil going into aquariums, people just wrote it off immediately. You know, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. So that killed that heater dead. And I did want to show you another heater that didn't have catastrophic failure, but didn't do well and actually went off the market. This is called a VANiSHEAT. Now, back in the 70s, this was revolutionary as far as aquarium heaters go because they were all in a glass tube with the heating element and the thermostat inside the tube. This one, which was double the price of a regular heater, in some cases 3 times the price, $29.90, was a silicone pad, and it went underneath the gravel. Then you had the controller that went on the top of your tank. Here's your pilot lights, and when it went on, that means your heater was on. The interesting thing about it is it says it's for anywhere from a 5-gallon to a 125-gallon tank. I found that really interesting. A 5-gallon to 125-gallon capacity. That just doesn't seem correct to me. But in any case, people didn't want this new technology, no matter how wonderful they said it was, and it collapsed. And that was the end of the VANiSHEAT. 2 heaters, gone. And now for the most spectacular failure, Wonderwater. Wonderwater lets you keep fresh and saltwater fish together. The question begs, why would you want to keep fresh and saltwater fish together? And that's the problem. So it's incredible. This actually is a new improved version, so they made it twice. I guess the first time it failed, they decided they were going to improve the instructions because people couldn't understand the instructions. But they also say that you can use this to ship fish. It's better to ship fish with this. They tell you there's certain kinds of fish that do better by keeping them both together. So it's already complicated. Now they're making it more complicated and telling you, well, there's only, bigger fish do better than smaller fish, as far as species that grow larger. So this was just crazy. And this was made in Japan. Jonko Manufacturing, which was a division of Cordon at the time. And I don't know whether they came up with this on their own or they got this from another company that made marine ocean. Keep marine and freshwater fish in one tank. Why not? This also came from Japan, probably around, actually this is from Taiwan, probably around the same time. But this is so rare, and I do know one bit of historical information about this. The original owner of Cordon was Murray Rakowitz, not Bob Rofan, Dr. Rofan. But Murray Rakowitz is the one who started Cordon, and he actually hired Bob Rofan because he wanted an ichthyologist in his company. And I remember talking to Murray, and he said that they paid a front-end loader guy at the Oakland dump $50 an hour to bury thousands and thousands of boxes of this. So in 100 years, when the excavators come to dig up dumps and find these treasures, they're going to find thousands of boxes of Wonderwater and wonder, what is this and why is this buried here? Well, if you come to this video, you'll find out. All right, that's it. See you again. Bye.